Hello guys, this is Hersh Bhardwaj. I am back with this very crucial video that a lot of students have asked. The reason I did not make this video earlier is because I thought that all those who are appearing for the UPSC exam, I think they are smart enough to go and sort out the book list and the syllabus themselves. But it turns out that a lot of students are still confused about what books to read. So I'm going to make it easy for you. I'm going to keep it simple, just like all my videos, and we're going to cover this in next 4 to 5 minutes. I can assure you that if you stick to this book list, if you stick to this reading list, this syllabus, the way I'm telling you, you really do not need to read anything around it. The biggest mistake students, aspirants make is to read too much. So I'm here to tell you what exactly to read. Okay, so here we go. This is for paper 1. As you know, we have two papers in English literature optional. So we will talk about paper 1 first. So we'll talk about paper 1, which is prose and poetry. Okay, and the literary era that this paper covers is 1600 till 1900. And just like my oft repeated advice, please do read all the original poems and plays first. We only have 3 plays in paper 1, 2 Shakespeare and 1 Henry Ibsen. So please do read everything in original. Do not depend upon summaries. We'll talk about it in a bit. So these are the poets that we have in the syllabus. William Wordsworth, we have about 8 or 9 poems of Wordsworth. John Milton, we have 4 books from Paradise Lost. So don't be confused by books. They are not that big. 4 books, John Milton. Shakespeare's 2 plays, King Lear and the Tempest. John Donne, metaphysical poet, about 4 to 5 poems. Alexander Pope, Rape of the Lock. Alfred Tennyson, only 1 poem, In Memoriam. Henry Ibsen's 1 play, A Doll's House. So not a lot of syllabus. You'll sail through it. I'm providing you with the text collected from the internet of all these poems. So you can get a PDF from me. You'll have to mail me on the email given in the description, and we'll mail you the collected PDF of all the poems in one place. Right? So that's really helpful. Actually, that was done by one of my students. So here is how you have to do it. Again, read original poems first. It's going to be a bit difficult, and most probably you will not get anything in your first reading, but that doesn't matter. After the first reading, try to understand what the poet is saying, then try to read a summary if needed. There are tons and tons of online resources. Read the summary. Don't try to read too much. Then put the poem aside, and then read the poem again, the original text again, after a day or 2 or 3 or 4 days, after a while. So that is the only way you will understand the poetry section. And then try to attempt questions. Okay. Prose, again, read all original texts in full, in their entirety. These are the authors, only 7 prose, 7 novels: Jonathan Swift, Gulliver's Travels; Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice; Henry Fielding, Tom Jones; Charles Dickens, Hard Times; George Eliot, The Mill and the Floss; Thomas Hardy, The Tess of the D'Urbervilles; Mark Twain, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. All of these are very interesting. So, and in CBSE and other Indian board syllabus, we have most of the students must be familiar with all of these, right? So it's not that bad, is it? And then what about the extra study topics, sir? Some of you might ask, because a lot of students ask me about which books to consult for this topic, for history, for that, and I again keep on telling them that the primary thing is to finish the original text first. Master the original text. Everything else is secondary. Yes, So for these extra topics, the Renaissance, Elizabethan and Jacobean drama, metaphysical poetry, epic and mock epic, neoclassicism, satire, romantic movement, the rise of the novel, the Victorian age. Get any good history of English literature text. Just go to a bookstore. I do not advise you to go to Amazon and figure that out. Go to a bookstore. Go to any academic bookstore if you're in Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, wherever you are, and check out 4 to 5 different history of English literature texts. I will not name one. So you go and check it out, and if if it appeals to you, if you understand the language, if you understand the way the author is writing the book, whatever suits your attitude, just get that book. It's not necessary. They all have the same stuff, factual stuff, so don't bother too much about that. And in my online classes, in my test series, I always talk about these topics when I'm teaching the text. So for example, if I'm doing the romantic movement, if I'm doing the William Wordsworth's poems, we will talk about the romantic movement. If we are doing the poetry of John Donne, obviously we will talk about what is metaphysical poetry and who are metaphysical poets and all that. So do that, get any book, any good book. Final comments. Follow the sequence of study I recommended. Start with poetry, then read prose, then the history. The reason why I wanted to start with poetry is because poetry has a longer gestation period. Understand it this way, that once you read the poems, you will not get them right away. So you read them, you leave them for a while, then you start reading prose, and then you get back to poetry. It will make sense. Trust me on this. Read the history and all those subtopics after you've done the texts. Do not start with the history of English literature and then read all the texts. Read only original texts. Practice answers and get feedback from any mentor that you trust. It could be your tutor, your professor, your lecturer, or your co-aspirant. But getting feedback on your answers is very, very crucial. And last of all, I want to wish you good luck for your studies. Those who are appearing for 2018, 19, 20, best of luck, happy reading, and God bless you. You can contact me at this email ID. A lot of stuff in the description, a list of poems in the description, and the way to get in touch with us to get that PDF of all the collected poems. Okay, thanks a lot for watching.